We're back for part 3 of the deck core replacement video with new haircuts.
How's it look?
It looks very epoxied.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Bella's gonna be working down here on the ground while I'm up adding some curve and correcting the sort of levels of the deck core that we laid in yesterday. I've got a lot of grinding to do, but Bella is gonna clean up the old pieces of fiberglass down here so that we can recycle them. With the orbital sander, she should be able to take off all this wood that's here so that we have nice, clean glass to lay back up.
You can tell where like the stanchions and like the deck hardware are because that wood is like absolute mush still, even though it dried out. Like in other parts it'll like flake off, but there it'll just like smush off if I'm pushing it. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna keep going and get all of these stripped off so we can put them back on the deck.
All right, so the core is all sanded and ready to receive the top layer of fiberglass, which we're recycling. Bella was working on pulling all the old rotten wood off of the bottom face of that top sheet of plywood before, but she had to run out for some errands, so I'm gonna be finishing it up. I will be able to use the angle grinder. I was using it before and she was struggling with the orbital sander. With the angle grinder it should go a lot faster and be a lot easier, so hopefully you can get that out of the way in the next half hour or so and start setting up for laying up that top layer of fiberglass. We cut discs of chopped strand fiberglass mat, which will replace the wood core in areas where we have hardware coming through the deck. This will avoid future moisture issues caused by leaky deck hardware seals. We then mixed up thickened epoxy to lay the recycled deck panels onto and weighed them down with sandbags. All right, so we're here on day, I don't even know, of the deck core replacement. Check out this dramatic lighting. It's really for warming up the epoxy. Let's go outside, because that's where the exciting stuff is. We've got the new deck. So there's a little more, I mean, there's no gaps here, but I would have liked to have filled it. I guess it doesn't really matter because we're gonna be grinding this out. We're gonna make a nice transition here, so we've got to grind it out anyway. but it looks so good. It's like, come on, it's so flush. Good boat. The deck is pretty close to finished now. There's not all that far left to go. I've ground out the edges of the fiberglass deck panels, and they're pretty much ready to lay in new resin. So I'm gonna start taping up the deck and tape off the areas that I don't want to get any resin on, and then tomorrow should be able to mix up some thickened epoxy and start doing final shaping for the deck. I cut up strips of chopped strand mat and mixed up some thickened epoxy to lay into the joints. This will build up the surface and will add some strength and flexibility to the joints before we do our final shaping. Our deck job is pretty close to finished. I think we'll probably wrap it here, but we were hoping to preserve the non-skid finish on the deck. I was really hoping that would work out, but it's really hard to get a good final result with that. So we've decided that in the spring we'll sand the entirety of the deck and replace that non-skid finish with a new product. So that video will happen eventually, but for now the deck is pretty close to final shape. Needs a little bit of sanding, and we'll come back to it. Later on in the project. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't checked out the rest of the videos in our deck replacement series, click the thing here to start the first one. And if you enjoy boats and or fixing stuff, subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.